According to court documents, it was placed in a shopping cart. A fuse was lit and that bomb went off. But investigators say he left something behind, a fingerprint. And that shined a light on the case and made a huge break for investigators.
The puddle's starting to accumulate on the roads out there. What are we looking at?
That's what we're looking at, Rob. Did you see that? Yeah, all of that rain. Looks like they even lost something in the back of the truck there. That's what we're seeing out here. They are recognizing it could have been much worse. You can see the board that's covering that storefront. But if you look at the other end of that lot, you can see this building, and this is what they're going to use as a temporary office. You're actually looking through the garage door and out the side door of his workshop, which was damaged by fire. He says a result of that lightning strike, which is actually the second time he said this has happened in about 5 or 6 years. Now this area is still taped off, but the incredible thing is if you look at one end of this workshop, he's got a barn and there are several animals that were inside. They're now actually in this field behind me, kind of hanging out here. But then on the other side of this workshop, you've got his home. His wife and daughter were inside at the time, and he says they weren't injured, the animals weren't injured, and for that, he is grateful. Take a look around out here. You can see that there's already a makeshift memorial for this family, for the boy and for his mother, who was found dead early this morning here in this park. Couldn't get this close at noon, but we want to give you a look now. Just take a look at the damage from this car. Now, this is one of the 4 that were involved in that 4-vehicle wreck. A lot of damage there. Investigators say it was the driver of this vehicle, though, that caused that crash by first crashing into the driver of this vehicle. Both of those folks were flown to Mission Hospital, and there were also 2 other people injured in this wreck as well. They were in separate vehicles. Now, troopers say this all could have been avoided if the driver of that blue car was not weaving in and out of traffic. Certainly a bad wreck indeed. If you try to even look through this vehicle, you can see it's very difficult to do that. Now, charges are pending in this wreck, but that's only half the battle for this driver, and kind of equates it to being a long jumper. Now, I'm not a track star by any means, but you kind of lift your chest up a little bit, have your arms out, and then snap it forward to get that distance. He said that snapping action is kind of what it felt like when he was thrown to the ground. And whether you're sitting on a bike or behind the wheel of a car, taking your eyes off the road for just a second, well, it can be like driving in the dark and can be deadly. The owner says that $40 out of pocket could turn into $400 if the state does not provide that funding. Well, mixed reactions, but I want to show you something. The Department of Public Safety has this app, which shows just how many sex offenders live where you are. Some parents say it helps to keep their kids safe, but that rep says that registries like this one have nothing to do with safety. Investigators say he put out an ad and received several responses via text message. It's not clear if the deal was done, but what is clear, this man is now in jail. Yeah, that's right, and it does quite a lot. If you're driving around the county, you might have noticed those high-top vans that might be assisting the elderly, maybe taking them to an appointment. They also transport children. As a matter of fact, as we were driving around, we spotted one right there. But it's that department that's at the center of this investigation. We're on the grassy areas, and you can see how much snow we've really had in the past hour or so, and it's been falling pretty consistently. That's been what we've been experiencing throughout the past hour and a half, 2 hours or so. I'm going to get back in the car, and of course we'll continue to give you these updates throughout the day, throughout the newscast, and let you know exactly what we're seeing on the roads. Yeah, they are basically turning their real-life next-door neighbors into their virtual neighbors through a website called Nextdoor. Now, we've been on. Sometimes it's the most obvious things that we forget. So, if you're going to sneeze, make sure that you wash your hands. Give it a little bit of soap, give it a little bit of water, and then, of course, you want to make sure that you dry it off. Then you can call it a day. But we're still waiting to learn how many people there are, who they are, and which crimes they're tied to. But take a look. These are just a few of the business owners whose livelihoods have now been affected thanks to these thieves who stole what they own.